When the heart is heavy, when the soul feels restless, and when the world seems too loud, remember, there is one who listens even when no one else does. The heart was never created to be tied to the noise of this world. It was created to whisper to its Lord. The moment you let your heart speak to Allah, you will discover peace that no amount of wealth, praise or recognition can ever give you. There are 8 powerful ways to let your heart speak directly to Allah, and each of them is a key to unlock peace, strength and closeness to Him. Make sure you listen carefully till the end, because every single point will transform the way your soul connects to its Creator. 1. Speak with sincerity in dua. When the heart turns to Allah in dua, it is not about carefully selected words, rehearsed phrases, or eloquent speech that impresses people. It is about allowing the raw and unfiltered state of your soul to pour out. Too often we think we must come before Allah with only the right words, but the truth is, Allah is not looking for vocabulary, He is looking for sincerity. Think about a child who runs to their parent after being hurt. The child doesn't use perfect language or structured sentences, yet the parent understands every cry, every tear, every broken word. Allah, the Lord of the worlds, understands the whispers of your heart before you even utter them. So why be shy to open yourself fully? Sincerity in dua means you don't hide what you are feeling. If you are weak, tell Him you are weak. If you are afraid, say you are afraid. If you are lost, admit that you are lost. This is not a sign of weakness. This is a sign of true belief, because you are acknowledging that only Allah can carry what you cannot. You may find yourself unable to express pain to your closest companions, yet with Allah, you don't need translation. He already knows, but He loves when you still turn to Him and ask. Imagine the weight lifting from your shoulders when you finally whisper what has been sitting heavy on your chest. That is the power of sincere dua. It is not about how long you make it, but how real it is. One short cry of Ya Allah, help me, with tears rolling down your face, can outweigh 100 rehearsed prayers said without heart. But dua whispered at night in solitude when only Allah hears carries more weight than a loud supplication said for people to notice. Sincerity also means that your door does not change depending on who is around you. It remains the same whether you are in a crowded masjid or alone in your room. This is how you know it is from the heart. You are not speaking to impress others. You are speaking to the one who already knows you better than yourself. And the beauty is, the more sincere your dua becomes, the more your heart feels lighter, because you are no longer holding back or pretending. You are releasing every burden exactly where it belongs, in the hands of Allah. 1. Speak with sincerity in dua. When you raise your hands to Allah and let your heart speak, the most important ingredient is sincerity. It is not the length of your supplication that matters, nor the sophistication of your words, but the truthfulness that comes from deep within you. When you speak to Allah, strip away all pretense, strip away all rehearsed lines, and come before Him exactly as you are, broken, tired, joyful, grateful, or in need. True dua is not a performance, it is an unveiling of the heart. Think of how a child calls out to their mother or father, not with poetry or grand speeches, but with simplicity and desperation. That is sincerity. That is how your dua should sound when you call upon the Lord who loves you more than your own mother. Sincerity in dua means acknowledging your own weakness and Allah's complete power. When you say, "O Allah, I am unable, but you are capable. O Allah, I do not know, but you know. O Allah, I am lost, but you guide. You are opening the doors to mercy. Every sincere cry, you make travel straight to the heavens because it is carried by honesty. You do not need to beautify your request. You only need to mean it. Even a single sigh from a sincere heart can reach Allah in ways that thousands of empty words cannot. At times you may feel too broken to even speak. Your lips may tremble, your voice may fail, and yet your heart still calls out. That too is dua. Because sincerity does not always require a voice, it only requires the soul turning fully to Allah. Tears on your cheeks, silence in your room, a restless heart in the middle of the night, all of these are languages of sincerity, and Allah understands them all. He is not impressed by what others hear from you, but by what He alone knows about you. When dua becomes sincere, it transforms your relationship with Allah. It no longer feels like a ritual. It becomes a lifeline. You begin to confide in Him about matters you cannot tell anyone else. You ask Him for things you never dared to say aloud before. You cry to Him with secrets you've held onto for years. This kind of dua is not just a request, it is a confession of love, dependence, and trust. It is the heart finally admitting that it has no refuge except in Allah and no strength except through Him. 2. Pour your tears in sujood. The moment of sujood is the most intimate position a believer can ever be in. When your forehead touches the ground, your body may seem low, but your soul is at its highest point. Sujood is not just a posture of prayer, it is the language of the heart that tells Allah, I surrender, I cannot carry this anymore, I place it in your hands. When you allow your tears to fall in that state, you are not simply crying, you are washing away the burdens of your soul. Every tear that slips onto the prayer mat becomes a testimony that you have chosen Allah as your refuge, not the world. Pouring your tears in sujood is a way of telling Allah what your tongue cannot express. There are times when words fail, when pain becomes too heavy to put into sentences, but tears speak louder than anything else. Allah knows what those tears mean. He knows whether they come from regret, from longing, from love, or from desperation. And the beauty of it is that in sujood, no tear is wasted. Every drop is seen, every cry is recorded, every silent whisper of your heart is carried to the one who answers all prayers. This act of crying in sujood also softens the heart. It removes arrogance, it melts away pride, and it reminds you of your complete dependence on your Creator. In the world, tears are often seen as weakness, but in sujood they are strength, they are courage, because you are admitting your vulnerability before the one who created you. When you cry before Allah, you are not breaking down, you are being rebuilt. Your sujood becomes a place where pain is transformed into peace, where despair turns into hope, and where the heaviest of worries are lifted from your shoulders. There is also a unique tranquility that follows after such a sujood. You rise from the ground, not the same person who went down. Something inside feels lighter, calmer, and more certain that Allah has heard you. The tears that fall in front of people may bring embarrassment, but the tears that fall in front of Allah bring honor. They are a mark of true faith, because not everyone is given the gift of crying in sujood. It is a sign of a heart alive, a soul aware, and a servant deeply connected to their Lord. 3. Confide in Allah before people. One of the greatest mistakes many make is rushing to share their problems with people before turning to Allah. When the heart is heavy, The natural instinct is to look for someone to listen, someone to comfort, or someone to give advice. But before you send a message, before you make a call, before you pour your emotions out to another human being, pause and ask yourself, have you told Allah first? He is the one who placed compassion in the hearts of people. He is the one who controls every solution. So how can you overlook Him while searching for comfort elsewhere? Confiding in Allah before anyone else is not only a sign of faith, but also a protection for your heart, because people can only listen while Allah can truly respond. When you speak to people, you often have to choose your words carefully. You worry about being misunderstood, judged, or exposed. But when you confide in Allah, you do not have to filter anything. You can speak freely, openly, and honestly. You can tell Him what you cannot tell your closest friend, your parents, or even your spouse. He knows what you hide, what you fear, and what you hope for. There is no hesitation needed, because Allah is the only one who will never betray your secrets, never grow tired of your voice, and never fail you. Confiding in Allah also relieves you from unnecessary disappointments. People, no matter how much they love you, are limited. They may not always be available, they may not always understand, and sometimes they may even unintentionally hurt you with their response. But Allah is never unavailable. The doors to His mercy are never closed. Day or night, in the darkest hours when the world sleeps, He listens. And His response is not limited to words of comfort. It comes in the form of guidance, strength, patience, or even a way out you never imagined. This act of prioritizing Allah in your confessions also shifts your dependence. Instead of tying your peace to people's advice or validation, you tie it to the one who is in full control. You start realizing that people can only be means, but Allah is the source. This awareness frees you from desperation towards creation and directs your heart towards the Creator. Every time you feel the urge to rush to someone with your worries, let your heart first kneel before Allah. Tell Him, cry to Him, complain to Him, and seek Him, because the one who makes Allah their confidant will never be left without answers. 4. Speak in gratitude. When the heart learns to speak in gratitude, it begins to see the world differently. Gratitude is not only saying Alhamdulillah when life goes smoothly, it is also recognizing blessings even when trials surround you. Speaking in gratitude to Allah means acknowledging that every breath, every beat of your heart, every moment you are alive is a gift from Him. It means you remind yourself that even the smallest things, like the ability to see, to hear, to walk, or to sleep, are blessings that many are deprived of. When you let gratitude flow from your heart to your tongue, it transforms your outlook on life, and it strengthens your connection with Allah in ways that complaints never could. A grateful heart does not wait for everything to be perfect before saying thank you, Allah. Instead, it says thank you even in the middle of storms, because it understands that every storm has wisdom. Gratitude allows you to see light where others see only darkness. When you start recognizing that the challenges you face are also part of Allah's mercy, either to purify you, to strengthen you, or to elevate you, you begin to live with more contentment. The heart that speaks gratitude finds peace not because life is free of problems, but because it knows that Allah is present in every situation. Speaking in gratitude also opens doors to more blessings. Allah promises that when you are thankful, He will increase you. This increase is not limited to wealth or material possessions. It includes increase in peace, in patience, in contentment, in faith, and in strength. A grateful person carries an inner richness that no circumstance can steal. Even when they have little, they feel like they have everything. because their heart is connected to the giver, not the gift. Another beauty of gratitude is that it purifies your dua. When you make dua with a grateful heart, you are not asking from a place of desperation or dissatisfaction. You are asking from a place of trust and appreciation. You say, Ya Allah, thank you for what you have already given me, and please grant me more out of your mercy. This kind of supplication carries sincerity and humility, and Allah loves it. Gratitude also protects you from envy and comparison, because your focus shifts from what others have to what you have been personally blessed with. It is a constant reminder that Allah chose these gifts for you with wisdom and care, and no one else could have received them in the same way you did. 5. Let the Qur'an echo in your heart. When you open the Qur'an, do not let it be only a book that your eyes scan or your tongue recites. Let it be a message that enters directly into your heart and settles there. The Qur'an was not revealed only to be read. It was revealed to transform, to heal, to guide, and to awaken the soul. Allowing the Qur'an to echo in your heart means that every verse you recite becomes a personal conversation between you and Allah. It is as if Allah is speaking directly to you, addressing your pain, your confusion, your joy, and your questions. This changes the way you approach the Qur'an from something ritualistic to something deeply intimate. When you read about patience, remember the moments in your life when patience was tested. When you recite verses about mercy, reflect on how Allah's mercy has already surrounded you countless times. When you come across verses about hardship followed by ease, think about the trials you faced and how Allah carried you through them. In this way, the Qur'an no longer feels distant, it feels alive. It becomes a mirror of your journey, reminding you that no matter what you face, someone before you faced it too, and Allah guided them out of it. That same guidance is waiting for you. The Qur'an also heals the heart when it echoes inside you. There are wounds that no words of people can heal, but a single verse from the Qur'an can reach places in your soul that nothing else can. The Qur'an carries power because it is the speech of Allah Himself. And when you allow it to penetrate your heart, it softens what has become hardened. It calms what has become restless. It strengthens what has become weak. Even if you do not fully understand every word, the sincerity of reciting it and reflecting upon it plants light into your heart. Letting the Qur'an echo in your heart also means you carry it with you in your actions. You live by its teachings, you embody its principles, and you let it guide your decisions. This echo is not only in your chest, but in your character, in your relationships, and in the way you respond to challenges. The more you respond to challenges, the more you let the Qur'an settle inside, the more it shapes you into someone who is aligned with the will of Allah. Every verse becomes an anchor, every recitation a reminder, and every reflection a step closer to the one who sent it down for your guidance. 6. Remember Him in silence. There is a special kind of remembrance that requires no words, no sound, and no movement of the tongue. It is the remembrance that takes place deep within the heart when you are silent yet fully aware of Allah's presence. Remembering Him in silence is not limited to dhikr with your lips. It is about carrying His awareness in every moment of your life. It is walking through your day with your heart, whispering, Allah is with me. It is pausing before every decision and knowing He is watching. It is smiling at the world while your heart is busy repeating His name. This silent remembrance is powerful because it does not depend on an environment, a place, or an audience. It is between you and your Lord alone. In silence, you find yourself free from distractions. No one is listening to how you phrase your dhikr. No one is observing your posture or your tone. It is you and Allah without pretenses, without performance. This is where sincerity thrives, because the heart is engaged even when the tongue is not moving. In these moments, your soul begins to taste tranquility, the kind of peace that no material possession or worldly recognition could ever bring. Silent remembrance becomes a refuge in a noisy world. This kind of dhikr also keeps your heart alive throughout the day, while others may only remember Allah in prayer or in a specific gathering. Your heart remains connected even as you work, study, travel, or rest. Every beat of your heart becomes a quiet testimony of faith. You are reminded that you do not need to raise your voice to be heard by Allah. He hears the thought before you turn it into words. He hears the sigh before it becomes a cry. He hears the heartbeat before it becomes a plea. This awareness nurtures a closeness to Him that is unshakable. Silent remembrance also teaches humility. It is not about showing others how much you remember Allah. It is about truly remembering Him for yourself. When you remember Allah in silence, your actions begin to reflect it. Your choices, your patience, your kindness, and your self-control become shaped by the awareness that He is near. The world may not see this hidden connection, but it glows in the unseen where it matters most. A heart that remembers Allah in silence carries a light that words cannot describe, a light that comforts the soul and keeps it firm no matter how loud the trials of life may become. You said, 7. Turn pain into prayer. Every human being carries pain, sometimes visible, sometimes hidden deep within the heart. Life will always test you with moments that feel unbearable, situations that break you, and wounds that words cannot describe. But the believer has a secret strength, the ability to turn that pain into prayer. Instead of allowing hardship to harden your heart, you use it as fuel to draw closer to Allah. Every tear, every sleepless night, every disappointment becomes an opportunity to lift your hands and say, Ya Allah, I cannot carry this alone. Turning pain into prayer means you do not waste your struggles, you transform them into a bridge that connects you to your Creator. When you are hurt by people, instead of drowning in bitterness, you pour that pain into dua. You tell Allah about the betrayal, about the harsh words, about the loneliness you feel. You do not need to hide your emotions because He already knows them, but confiding them in prayer gives your heart release. Rather than bottling it inside until it destroys you, you let it flow towards the one who can heal you. This act not only eases the burden, but also gives meaning to the suffering, because you know Allah is listening and will never let your pain be in vain. Turning pain into prayer also changes your perspective. What once felt like a punishment becomes a reminder that Allah wants you closer to Him. Every time life knocks you down, you see it as a call to fall into sujood. Every hardship becomes a push towards the prayer mat. Instead of asking, why me? You begin to say, guide me through this, strengthen me with this, draw me nearer because of this. Pain no longer becomes something you fear. It becomes a tool of transformation. This practice also builds resilience. A heart that knows how to turn pain into prayer cannot be broken by the world, because it has a direct line to the one who controls the world. The believer learns that no matter how heavy the trial, the door of prayer is always open. And when you keep turning to Allah in your darkest moments, you begin to taste a sweetness even in sorrow. The world may see your tears and think you are weak, but in reality you are strong, because your pain has been redirected into the most powerful form of strength, a heartfelt prayer whispered to the Lord of mercy. 8. Trust Allah with your secrets. There are thoughts, fears and dreams that you cannot share with anyone else. Some burdens are too heavy for friends, too delicate for family, and too personal for the world. But there is one who knows every hidden corner of your heart, every unspoken worry, and every silent hope. Allah. Trusting Him with your secrets means carrying them to the one who will never judge, never ridicule, and never betray your confidence. When you place your innermost self in His hands, you release a weight that the world could never lift, and you find solace in the knowledge that He is fully aware of what you need, even before you ask. Trusting Allah with your secrets requires courage. It is easy to share a problem with someone who will offer advice or a quick solution, but it takes faith to speak to Allah without expecting immediate relief, without knowing the outcome, and without hearing a word in response. Yet, this is the essence of reliance, knowing that Allah is listening, knowing that He is capable of more than you could imagine, and trusting that He will act in ways that are best for you, even when you cannot see the path ahead. Every secret, every fear, and every desire entrusted to Him becomes part of a bond that no one else can interfere with. When you trust Allah with your secrets, your heart begins to experience a rare peace. You no longer feel the need to hide or to carry burdens alone. The act of confiding in Him transforms anxiety into hope, fear into patience, and doubt into certainty. You begin to understand that some things are too precious for public discussion, too sacred for human ears, and too powerful for anyone other than Allah to handle. The trust you place in Him strengthens your faith and deepens your relationship with your Creator. Moreover, this trust teaches humility and reliance. You learn to let go of control, to surrender outcomes, and to believe that Allah's wisdom surpasses your own understanding. Secrets shared with Allah become a source of inner strength, a quiet reassurance that even in solitude, you are never truly alone. Each prayer, each whispered confession, and each silent plea builds a bridge between your heart and Allah, reminding you that He is the safest keeper of your soul, the most compassionate listener, and the ultimate guide who holds everything you cannot carry on your own.